face, front true believers. Welcome to the Pitch Nerds. We are the weekly show where two nerds get all nice and bundled up in this cool weather and gather around the computer to bring you the latest in nerdy news, reviews, and pitches and rumors and all that great stuff. I'm Cap, and joining me today, as always, best friend, fellow nerd, and Titanic survivor, Mr. Frosty. Mr. Frosty, how are you doing?
Not a great morning, and also for some reason my camera won't focus, but we're just gonna go ahead and move forward with an unfocused camera.
Yes.
So one thing I asked all you guys, and we'll keep looking throughout the show if anybody else has any suggestions for our next pitch. Hang on one second. Fellow nerd at Captain Graybeard 13 has suggested Pirates of Dark Water. Remember that show?
Ooh, that'd be an interesting one.
Would be interesting. It's gonna be it's been a long time since I watched it. So,
yeah, that'd require homework.
It would require homework, but we do tend to give ourselves several weeks, so I mean,
yeah.
It would work. But we'll right now you're in the lead. We'll check in on Twitter throughout the show. I mean, I think if nobody else chimes in, we end up doing Pirates of Dark Water, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Wow, that is a franchise I have not thought about in probably how long has it been now? Like 30 years? 30?
I don't know. Yeah, it's been a long time. That's what I said. I said, oh yeah, I haven't thought about that show in years. Thanks for the suggestion. It is a cool show. I mean, the concept and everything.
I don't even remember the concept.
There's dark water, and it literally dark water,
right?
And it's like swallowing everything up. If they collect the 13 jewels of something, they can stop the dark water.
Okay.
And evil pirate lord who's like trying to
Wasn't that like the Hercules days, like Xena Warrior Princess days?
Sort of, but it was an animated show. I mean, like it was in that same time period.
Okay. Wait, which
one? This was animated.
God,
it was a kid's show.
I need to YouTube this. Like I remember the name, I just can't remember the premise.
I wonder if it's on anywhere.
I'm sure it's on YouTube.
I doubt YouTube, but
it's
where can I watch Pirates of Dark Water?
Dark Water intro. Okay.
It says you can stream it on Prime Video, so it's probably
interesting. Dude looks like He-Man. It looks like a
it's
that... you know what? It's the dude with the broken sword. Okay, I remember now. Okay, yeah. The main character sort of looks like a He-Man, like biker mouse from Mars type guy, but he's got the broken sword. Okay, I remember it now vaguely. Cool, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, and it was him, and he had two people in it with him, and yeah, like I said, it was like literal like black water was like eating the world.
Yeah. Wow, what a trip! I'm gonna jump on that when we get offline. Like the intro to Pirates of Dark Water.
Oh, it's cheap as balls. I mean, it is on Prime. You have to rent it. Oh no, never mind. I mean, it's $1.99 per episode. I thought it was per season. I was like, oh shit.
Okay.
It's $15 to buy the season. So
okay.
We might be able to find episodes on YouTube.
We find.
I mean, yeah, it's going to require research.
I'm looking at a couple right now, so it's turns out you don't have to dive that deep into the interwebs to find it. Cool. I'd be down for that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a well-regarded show. I remember reading stuff about the Bible. You know, they have show Bibles and like the lore and everything like that. Yeah. I'm try moving this camera, seeing if I can make something happen. I am so sorry to everybody for that's a little bit better.
Tiny bit.
It's a high quality camera. I think it's just in the morning light and stuff like that. It just struggles.
Right.
And I don't have one of those like ring lights or anything like that. Maybe if I move my light source closer to me. Any better? A little bit.
Tiny bit.
And then no. As soon as I sit down,
you have a nice creamy glow.
Yeah. Anyway,
Pirates of Darkwater.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think we'll see if anybody else has any suggestions. But that's our running their lead. And thank you again, Captain Graybeard 13.
You were mentioning
if anybody watching wants to chime in, obviously you can just write in the comments, or you can let us know on Twitter where I put up the question to everybody. And yeah.
So you were mentioning the show Bible. Pirates of Darkwater.
Oh yeah, I just remember reading in the show Bible, and I was this is years and years ago, and it was a really cool thing, and I didn't realize they went into that kind of detail in these old shows, but I mean it makes sense. And then since then, I've tried to, I think with your project, for example, you're trying to essentially create a Bible for your project.
Yeah, pretty much. So. That's cool that something like that was have such a meaty nug of lore. That's cool. Either way, whether we pitch it or not, I'm looking forward to revisiting it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you just rattled that my little memory banks, something that I haven't thought of honestly in like 30 years. I completely forgot about it. It's a lovely feeling.
So what we got on the show today? We got
oh boy, we have all those Super Bowl trailers from the Flash to the Beast Wars.
Oh, I didn't even think about
Guardians and the Mandos and the.
Well, I'll let you run those. I've got lots of nerdy news because I figured we don't have an episode of
The Last of Us or Vox Machina,
and Vox Machina just ended. But we're going to be doing Behold Nerds this week as Encino Man.
Yes,
and then we got a fight that I've been looking forward to: Wolverine versus Inuyasha. I've been really waiting for Inuyasha to roll up, and I've been really hoping I would. Because no offense, Cap, but I had a feeling if you got Inuyasha, you'd be like, meh. And I'm not the only one that thought this. People that know Cap all thought he would do that if he got Inuyasha.
So you know what bugs me? You've gotten more of the Force users than I have. Like you've gotten more of like the Star Warsy stuff, but I'm actually looking forward to this one because I did some Wolverine research and I'm looking forward to this one. This should be a pretty fun match. I saw Quantumania. I have thoughts of Quantumania.
So we'll have Cap's review of Quantumania. I also saw something that I didn't know was out already. I'll do a quick review of it. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is already released on Disney. I didn't realize it was already out, and I was looking for something to watch, and I put that, and then I saw it was out, and so I watched the almost one episode. So that kind of gives you my opinion of it right off the bat.
It's not made for you, Frosty.
It is not made for me. But I mean, there are shows that aren't made for me, but I can still enjoy them. And
right.
Like Steven Universe is made for a younger audience. I think Steven Universe is an amazing show.
Right.
But yeah, anyway.
But also, really quick, I've been watching Doom Patrol. I've been binging it. I love it.
Oh, Doom Patrol is an excellent show. How far along are you?
Episode 13. It's getting really meta and weird. But
the show was meta to begin with.
Right. Yeah. But oh my goodness gracious, I love this show. Yeah, I'm trying to get other friends to watch it because it's just good. It's lovely.
It's one of those shows. Yeah, I remember when before DC moved to the HBO app. Doom Patrol was one of their first shows that came out, and I was telling everybody to watch it, and yet nobody was. Like, I did get my friend and fellow nerd who's been on the show before, Nick, to watch it, and he fell in love with it. And he actually thanked me for the recommendation. He liked it so much.
This is a very good show.
It's amazing. Yeah, like his and my favorite character, well, one of them, because there's so many interesting characters that they introduced, is he's a big Flex Mentallo fan as well.
Yes.
Have you gotten to him yet?
Yeah, so I'm on episode 13. Mr. Nobody just kidnapped Danny.
Yeah.
And the big cockroach overlord, General whatever, is like, haha, I'm one. So I'm right there.
Yeah, I love Flex Mentallo.
Oh, he's great.
These are all comic book characters, by the way. They're I mean, like I
I
always
was
think
wondering what the
Jamie
butts
Sweet.
were. What was up with the butt swarm? Like,
No, they're I forget, but they tell you what they're called, but yeah, they had them locked down because they're so dangerous,
right.
and then they just I can't I mean I remember they're like, oh no, and then all starts attacking.
Also, my goodness gracious, the vegetable mineral raptor head man, like,
Yeah, animal, vegetable, mineral man. Remember I was talking about him last
right.
week. Yeah.
What issue is he in? What is his deal? Just so
He's
many
different in
questions.
the comics, but he's exactly what he sounds like. He's animal, vegetables, and mineral. He's all three. I mean, the animal is the raptor head, and then the vegetable is like the plant part of his body, and the mineral is the mineral part of the body. Animal, vegetable, mineral man. And I think that raptor head attacks him like at some point.
Nice.
Like
Yeah.
it's mentioned or something. Like they're like, oh yeah, like it tried to eat his normal head or something.
Right. No biting. No biting. Yeah.
He was excited when he got his powers.
Oh, he was like,
powers.
Oh, that show's so good. I'm not sure. I didn't look at how many episodes were in season 1, but I would imagine it seems like it's coming to a head soon.
Yeah, and I think if I remember right, I'm gonna that it switches villains. So what I mean, I love Mr. Nobody, but it's cool that we get different main villains and things like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we jump into the news?
Yes.
So it's been confirmed and also proving me right to all the people on Twitter. Ha ha ha. You shouldn't hate watch things if you want it to go away.
Velma season 2. Yes.
Yep. Officially a go. Early reports indicated HBO Max planned to renew, but the renewal has now been confirmed. And not only that, development has begun. So
remember
all these people are saying how terrible it is and sitting there watching it and talking about it.
Right.
You made it happen.
Right.
Congrats.
Poetic is life. Bad press is good press.
Yeah.
They get you to watch it. They get those clicks. They don't care in the upper pantheon what your opinions are, so long as they're getting the clicks. They don't care. They just want your money. So this culture war crap means nothing to them. In fact, they stoke the flame. They don't care.
Yeah, no, it's beneficial for them because if you, I mean, like, the more you complain, the more people are like, wait, what's this? What's the issue with this?
Right.
And then they seek it out and watch it.
Right. So it's not like me who will sit down and enjoy watching the classic that is Turkish Star Wars or the Star Wars Holiday Special. They're bad, but there's a charming, there's a love to it.
That's a so bad it's good scenario.
Right. This is just, and again, I don't even think Velma was that bad. It's not awful. It's just doesn't rise to the level of just like, eh.
You're saying it doesn't deserve bad.
It doesn't deserve everything. Is it bad? I guess it did make me chuckle a couple times, but it's so forgettable I couldn't repeat the what made me laugh about it. It just, again, it tries really hard to be Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn took the core characters and added their own kind of amalgamation satirical spin of the characters. They didn't really do that with the Scooby-Doos. They just kind of made them something else that isn't true to like their true essence of the character, really.
Right.
And that's what's missing. If this show carried that element from Harley Quinn, it'd be lovely. I'm sure it'd be a charming little show. But it just fails to do that. It's that's it. We're retreading on.
Yeah, but I mean, I just thought it was interesting that it's already a go.
Oh yeah, they did it to themselves, and that's what's funny. So,
yeah, I mean, and like you said, they're the culture wars and all that kind of stuff, and but it's not even. I mean, I guess it is with that show, but
right.
It's just if you hate something, then chances are it'll come back.
Right. So to quote The Simpsons one last time, just don't look.
Yeah.
That's it. Anywho.
So Sadie Sink, it's rumored she's being considered to join the MCU in a future film. You may recognize her. She played the redhead girl in Stranger Things.
Okay.
So the question is, what is a good fit for her?
Oh, well, with the is she naturally ginger?
I don't know. I mean, that doesn't matter. I mean, they can.
I don't know, because Mary Jane was what would pop into my head with the fiery locks and just.
Yeah, but they've already got a Mary Jane.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. Probably some sort of X. Ooh, Kitty.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking as soon as you said X-Men, I thought Kitty as well.
Yeah, I think she'd make a good Kitty.
Yeah, because she's younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see her as Kitty. I mean, I think they do need to pivot and really go hard with the X-Men now that they have it.
Right.
They have said that Fantastic Four, when it comes out, is going to be extremely influential to like what's going on. So that's cool. But yeah, I'm trying to think who besides Kitty. Gosh, what are some movies that they got coming out? I don't know.
She could be Indiana Jones's great granddaughter. Yes.
Well, that's not an MCU property.
I don't know. Disney owns all the toys. They can empty them all together into some Disney thing. Money. Hold on. Anyways, did you see any of the Super Bowl trailers? Just curious.
Nope.
No? Oh, wait.
I do not watch the Super Bowl.
But the trailers and the marketing.
I know, but you won't get me marketing. So this is interesting. So Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey has come out.
Yes.
Apparently it's terrible.
Terrible. Yes.
The director / creator and everything, he said that, like, I promise the next one's going to be better. This was just us seeing if it could happen.
Right.
Because they weren't even sure this would even be possible, because they weren't sure what would happen with the public domain and all that kind of stuff. So
so they played it loosey-goosey. They did it. What's his name? Bowl?
That guy.
Yeah.
The director is Rise Frake Waterfield is his name. But he did say so he plans to make it again but better.
Okay.
And also, or he said the next one will be better. And then also in a recent interview, he said he also wants to make horror films based on TMNT and Teletubbies. I'm not sure how that works though, because I'm pretty sure those aren't public domain. So
right.
Yeah, but I mean, a Teletubbies horror story. I mean, that's practically a horror to begin with.
It is. Don't they consume people's souls and project their essence through their tummies? Or something like that. Well, the sun is where they draw all their power.
Yeah, I saw a joke saying, like, if you want to feel old, here's what the Teletubby sun looks like now. And you expect it to look like a grown-up, because it's a human that played the sun. But then it showed, like, a freaking collapsed star. Oh, man, it was good.
But
I have heard that baby is like an adult now or something like that.
Oh, it's got to be. I wonder if it's still getting royalties. It's got to. But a horror TMNT would be.
I actually sat down and watched one like this is years ago. I sat down because like it was all hype, so I was like, fine, all right, let me see what this is.
Right.
I sat down and watched one whole episode, and I was like, Jesus, like this is. They repeat stuff over and over again. And then like they watch an entire like Mr. Rogers style, like, hey, let's learn about like printing or something.
Right.
And then like then
it does
after it ends, they go again, and you're like, oh my God, really? Like
it conditions the brain. It is bizarre. Yes, I did sit through several episodes when I was younger. When I would stay at my grandmother's house, she didn't have cable, and there comes a point during every daytime television where it's talk shows and news, and there's nothing to do. So if you want to watch TV, you scroll over to PBS, and occasionally you catch like a Bill Nye the Science Guy or like Magic School Bus or the Carmen Sandiego fucking game
I
show.
love me some Magic School Bus.
Oh yeah,
I used to buy the books. The
Yeah.
show was okay, but the books were where is that?
yeah.
I saw. I think it was College Humor did a grown up version of that. Like, and like they're like, why do we have to like? Who wants to go in so and so's ass today? And like, you know, like,
Right.
and then the kids sitting out front, and they're all got the like giant bus behind him, and he's like bent over.
Anyways, what were we talking about? Something about Teletubbies. Yes.
I have no idea.
Oh no, but
Teletubbies,
TMNT.
yeah, how they want to make a horror movie.
I would love to see a TMNT horror movie. I think that could easily be done. Fellow nerd Adrian.
Side tangent.
Fellow nerd Adrian's been reading Ronin. Yeah.
Go for it. Yeah. The Last Ronin.
The Last Ronin. So good.
I saw that he mentioned that. It was a good book. I enjoyed it.
I loved it.
Here's a side tangent though. I saw posed online this. At first, I'm like, no, wait
a minute. Wait a minute. My brain went through the same thing. I'm glad we cut it all.
Yeah.
It's like, no, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I identify as Raphael. No! Frosty, you're Genghis Toad. No!
I am a Leonardo. How dare you?
Oh my God, my brain. Wow. Okay, that's my answer.
I mean, it pretty much is.
It is.
The more I thought about it,
No,
like,
it really genuinely is. Holy shit.
Yeah, because I mean, you're like, well, there's turtles and like, and not that's there's human characters. No, not. And then you realize they keep expanding it and introducing more animal human people, and you're like, oh yeah, like. You know.
So you're saying we should cosplay as Ninja Turtles and go to a fur con, where we'll be welcomed as heroes.
Is Batman the world's richest furry?
No, not twice. My brain.
Oh man.
Moving on.
All right. Kevin Feige confirms Winter Soldier will be the de facto leader of the Thunderbolts.
Okay.
So,
cool.
Yeah, I mean, fine.
Yeah. Yes.
Again, my problem with Thunderbolts is when I was all excited for it, and then they showed the lineup.
They're all
like,
super soldiers.
Every single one of them is just a super soldier.
Right.
You know, they're all the same. You know, like there's like
they're all The Rock.
Yeah, like they need to mix it up. Have someone that shoots fucking lasers or some shit. I don't care.
Right.
You know, like you know. And the problem, okay. So the problem with Eternals was it was too many characters in a movie. At least with this movie, they've all been introduced already, so we've had time, to kind of get to know the characters. Hopefully, it's good. I mean, it sounds like Ant-Man and Wasp wasn't great, so that's disappointing.
It was fine. I have some thoughts, but
okay,
yeah,
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
In D&D news, this is the stupidest article I've ever read. By the way,
is this the one? Is this the one?
Well,
is this the $163 million
articles
loss?
And you're just like, what the fuck was the point of this? Like, is anyone that dumb? But they released the runtime. It's 2 hours and 17 minutes. But Screen Rant was like, which is way shorter than a typical D&D campaign. Yeah.
Okay.
And also news, water is wet. You know what I mean? Like,
but what is wet, Frosty? What is wet?
Yeah. I read this thing talking about how we can't feel wetness. It's not something humans are capable of feeling.
Okay.
And this comedian goes, okay, So if I blindfold someone and push him into a pool, he's not going to know he's wet. I was like, oh yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, moving on.
But anyway, that I just Screen Rant. Come on, man. Some of your articles are just garbage. I'm sorry. I use you for a lot of our nerdy news because it's got a lot of stuff. But
was it supposed to be tongue in cheek though? I mean,
no. It's they try and find articles to fill up their thing, and yeah, they write articles about the stupidest shit. I gotta close my window because the gardeners are gonna start.
I saw the trailer for the D&D movie, and it's lovely. Was it Chris Pine?
I'm hoping it's good. I really, really hope it's good. I just don't think I've said this before on our show. I really hope the show's going to be excellent. I mean, the movie, and I just don't think it will be.
So there was one point. So with Vox Machina, I can watch it, and the D&D part of my head can see them playing over the table and rolling the dice. So you can kind of see how the dice rolls play out in their favor or disfavor. So having seen the new trailer, you can kind of see that also, so it doesn't take itself too seriously. It looks like it looks like there's going to be some...
There's two ways you can go with a D&D movie, right? You can either do where you emphasize the fact that it's a game,
yeah,
or you can ignore all of that and you can just make it based on, because D&D has rich lore, and there's all sorts of cool books and things and stories, and there's plenty to pull from,
right?
And it has nothing. I mean, it is the game it's based on the game, sure, but they're not like focused on dice rolls or anything like that. And then you can just throw in a couple of things so people are like, I know Fireball. You know what I mean? So there's two ways you can go about it,
right?
I'm hoping that they go with the latter and they go with like some of the lore. I mean, Forgotten Realms, for example, is super interesting. I mean,
right?
There's oh, good, my camera's finally like cleaned up.
Yay! Look at that glistening Frosty.
Yeah,
long.
I feel like shit today.
You look great.
Thank you.
Looks like Spider-Man's kind of like your buddy over your shoulder.
My Spider-Man bed sheets.
He's like your homeboy in the background, like, hey, what's up there?
But anyway,
but the trailer looks fun. That was one of the trailers from Super Bowl. It looks fine. I think Vox Machina is going to end up being the superior of the D&D media.
The last D&D movie was shit.
Yeah,
and I mean, I'm one of those people that's very careful to say, "Oh, it wasn't for me." You know what I mean? But you could like it. But no, that movie was just a pile of shit. I remember when I watched it the first time, years and years ago. I had such a good time watching it, and I thought it was such a fun movie. I've watched it since, and I was like, "Wow, what the fuck was I thinking?" I mean, but did you ever see that old school Captain America movie? Like,
yeah, the one where he beats up people on the motorcycles and takes a motorcycle. Yes.
Yeah, I watched that as a kid, and I thought that movie was awesome. Again,
no.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if adult me came in, I'd point at little kid me and be like, "You're an idiot."
Right. Yeah.
I mean, but fair enough, I guess. If you had fun watching it, I remember renting it from the store and thinking it was great. And then I rented the Flash made-for-TV movie. Thought that was fantastic.
Oh,
it wasn't that bad.
I think I only saw part of that one. Again, that was one of those things where I'd watch at my grandmother's house.
They brought the guy back in the CW Flash, and they had him play Jay Garrick.
Yeah.
The same actor.
Oh, that's right, huh? That was awesome.
Yeah.
But anywho,
man, it's fun doing this show.
It is.
By the way, if any of my guildies join in, what's up? Hey, Virtuosus, I think that's what we're called.
Yeah. Is that a Harry Potter word?
I don't know. I just joined a guild on ESO, and I'm very introverted. It was hard for me to even be on camera to do this show, and
don't know why.
So I've just started.
Had you had your camera off, we would miss that really kick-ass jacket that you're wearing. I love that jacket.
But yeah, I just started dipping my toe into it and chatting with people. And of course, they all have strong opinions that are not the same as mine, but that's fine. About stuff that I like comics. I don't want to pick out anybody's names, but one guy, man, he was completely wrong about everything he was saying. Like with and things that you could fact check, like numbers and stuff like that.
Right.
Anyway, but yeah, hey, anybody that joins in, hope you enjoy the show.
Hola.
But we got a couple more notifications on Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is fellow nerd at Inkboard Studios. Richard Lumsden's been on our show. It's actually a good question. How do you cut your sandwich, Cap?
Oh,
Straighten or like a diagonal?
so I am an animal, a filthy, disgusting animal. My perfect sandwich is my roast beef sandwich. Do my roast beef, some good romaine, some Swiss cheese, a little bit of balsamic on there, mwah, some cracked pepper, delicious, some tomato, freshly sliced tomato, 2 big pieces of whole wheat, smash that together. I'm a barbarian, Frosty. I don't got time to cut anything. I dislocate my jaw like Shaggy and Scooby Doo, and I just thrust that thing down my throat, and like a yeah.
I rarely cut sandwiches as well because I'll just eat it straight.
Yeah.
But if I'm being fancy and I want to cut it,
triangles,
it's a diagonal cut for me.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like straight in half, that's just not fancy, you know?
Right. You need the triangles.
But Richard Lumsden has chimed in and he said, just cut it into 9 pieces and mess everybody up. Good answer.
Yes.
Also, by the way, while we're talking, our biggest condolences, man. Sorry to hear about your mom. Gotta be hard. If there's anything the Pitch Nerds can do to support you, just let us know. Moving on to more fun stuff.
Yes.
Where were we? News, yes, but where were we in the news? We were talking about the runtime. Oh, yes. So also in D&D news, Joe, and I'm gonna butcher your name, Mangiolano. He's in a ton of stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Big D&D nerd. He was in that movie Magic Mike. He's in.
If I see his face, I'm a face guy.
He's working on a D&D show. That's all we knew, but my brother sent that info to us. That sounds cool. He's a big D&D nerd. He's been on Critical Role a few times, and what's the other one?
I love how we're getting all this like D&D content. It's nice.
Well, D&D is more popular than it's ever been, so
yeah,
that's part of why. I think Stranger Things and a few other things have pushed it into the forefront.
Right.
And then I also think the pandemic probably had something to do with that.
Makes sense.
Because there just wasn't anything to do.
Right.
So, yeah. But that's cool. Yeah, I'm excited. Give me more D&D stuff. Vox Machina is excellent.
Wonderful.
I'm telling anyone that's into D&D, like, check it out if you haven't yet. Because I mean, I understand not everybody wants to sit through like a Critical Role or something like that.
Right.
I can't wait to start playing D&D again. I'm currently taking a break because that's a good question for people out there. Like, what is your preferred D&D style? My current D&D group is being run by a DM who plays a campaign style where the story informs the rules, whereas I'm more of a player that the rules inform the story. And when you change core rules, I can't play anymore because the way I would explain it is it'd be like playing chess, and someone says my rook can now move diagonally. And it's like, wait, what?
Right.
And for me, I can't play that. I'm sitting there and I'm just getting more and more pissed off that the rules are. So I know it doesn't make sense for me to play because I don't want to ruin anybody's time.
Right.
But that said, oh man, I can't wait to come back. So I think I'm DMing next though.
That's cool.
You're definitely a story informs rules player. You prefer your story to take the forefront, or DM, I mean. But everybody has their own thoughts on how they like to play.
DMing was
I've never actually sat down at two tables where they play the same, you know what I mean? Every table seems to play differently.
Right.
Also announced a Venture Brothers movie.
Ooh.
I'm excited for this. Love
live
Venture
action?
Brothers. I don't think it's live action. I think it's going to be animated. There's an image. So yeah, it's definitely animated because they've released an image which shows Brock's return.
Nice.
And the film's going to act as the final kind of chapter for the show.
Venture Brothers is one of those shows where I tried really hard to watch and get into, but it just didn't sink its teeth into me. I know Fellow Nerd Raider is a huge Venture Brothers fan.
Yeah, I don't know how you don't love it. I mean, it's fucking fantastic.
Right, I get it. It has
it parodies everything that I love. G.I. Joe, fucking Johnny Quest, all these things.
Right.
And even the $6 Million Man's in an episode. His girlfriend is a Yeti, but it turns out the Yeti's a man.
What a tweet!
It's a great show. It's so funny, and I also love how it parodies the whole villains and heroes thing.
Yeah,
because the villains and heroes, like, you're part of guilds. And there's all these rules that, like, you're not allowed to use like lethal weapons. You're only allowed to use like knockout darts and stuff like that. Like if you have a gun and you're in the villain guild, they'll come down on you,
right?
And because you're not supposed to use guns,
right?
And and things like that. It's just, and like the Monarch said it best. It's like we play cat and also cat, and we sharpen our claws, and like, but then again, like Dr. Venture's like. He doesn't want to deal with any of it.
Right.
He has all these arch enemies and stuff like that.
Right.
It's great.
I've watched a lot of episodes. I think I made it through half a season, or watched up to half a season one. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've watched it, but I don't know. I'll revisit it again.
Did you see the episodes with what's his name? The guy with the metal jaw. I forget his name. Underbite, so Baron Underbite. Yeah. And he has his own nation. And then he gets overthrown by the two leaders, and it's I forget his name, like something cat and like Hitler Girl, and then like at the end, like the cat guy's like, you mess with the cat and you get the claws, and then she's like, and you mess with the girl and you get the Hitler. That's gonna be taken out of context.
You committed to it. You committed to it. Somebody's gonna cherry pick that and loop it for 10 hours. Nice.
Yeah,
I'd watch this shit.
Yeah, I'll be getting some debate on Twitter, and they'll be like, "You support Hitler," and then here's this thing, you know.
Right. That's called a quote mine. Anyways, that's cool. I'd watch it. The going back to Venture Brother, I'll watch it.
Did you see that? I mean, I don't think you're a big fan of this either, but there was a recent, God damn it, Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie.
Haven't seen the recent one.
Did you see the first one?
It's so the first one came out. I've seen the first one, but then there was like an alternate version that came out on the DVD that was a completely different movie.
I didn't know that.
I watched that and it felt so long I fell asleep through it. But yes, I have seen the.
My favorite part of the whole movie, the first one, was the "Let's all go to the lobby." Yeah, that part, and then the metalhead ones go in and they're like,
yeah.
Yeah. Did you bring your baby here? Leave it in the street. We'll run it over after the show. It's so good.
It's just over the top. Yeah,
Don't pull your penis out unless you really want to.
I didn't understand that show until I got high. And then I'm like, okay, I get it.
It's one of my favorites. It's so bizarre.
Right.
But I understand it's not for everyone. I used to watch it with my ex-girlfriend. And, all right, she said, whenever we watch this show, I feel like I'm insane. And I'm like, yeah.
I am with Noble, where my favorite episode that I've seen, I've seen a lot of them, but the one that stands out the most is Ham Banana. Is goddamn so
funny. So I didn't get the show at first. And then it's always one joke, and then all of a sudden everything clicks.
Right.
And it was one where Frylock invents a toilet that doesn't need water.
Okay.
And Carl is like, and so he introduces it to Carl, and then Carl's like, he's like, oh yeah, let me just take a shit out on my yard, because it's so big it was out in his front yard.
Right.
And then he was like, oh, you don't have to worry about it. It's got cloaking technology. And then he's like, oh, so great. It'll be like that movie Predator, only instead of hunting people, I'll be taking a shit. And he's like, hey, whatever sci-fi fantasy you want. And then it cuts to them like inside the house, and Frylock's watching him. And then he's like, and he locked Carl's door so he can't get inside his house.
Right.
And Carl's like, where's that cloaking thing? And then Shake's like, I thought you gave him cloaking technology. He's like, hell no, I ain't do that. And he's like, I can't make that happen. And then Carl's like, oh, whatever. I guess I just have to take a shit here. So he takes the shit. Shake's like, oh my God, I want to see that. I want to see that. He's like, I don't want to see that. And then he flushes the toilet, and the turbine kicks in to suck it.
Oh yeah, it sucks Carl
sucks his whole body in. Yeah, and all it's left is like a head.
Yeah.
And then they come out and they see his head, and they're like, we can rebuild him. We can make him better, stronger. And then it cuts, and they've just bungee corded his head to a tree, and then laid out his clothes like he's still there. It's so good. And the rest of the episode is them making him bodies and stuff. Like, there's one that's just eyeballs, and they're like, okay, Carl, take a step towards me. And he's like, oh, I'm going to take a step towards you. He's just stepping on eyeballs.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's a good show. Anyway, that movie's out on HBO. If anybody hasn't seen it, it's good.
I haven't seen the second one.
I think the first one was better, though.
Okay.
So there's a new rumor about the MCU's Fantastic Four, which claims they're looking for actors old enough to play Reed and Sue as parents.
Okay.
Well, that means Franklin
Richards. Right.
Yeah, which, hell yeah. I mean,
there we go. He's gonna.
Yeah, it would be interesting to introduce a character that's just that much more powerful than everybody else we've ever seen. Because I mean, arguably the two most powerful characters right now, like Scarlet, Captain Marvel and
Scarlet.
Well, I mean in the MCU, Captain Marvel and
Scarlet Witch.
What's her name?
Wanda.
Scarlet Witch.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Thor.
So, but yeah, I mean, in my opinion, if you're going to introduce Franklin Richards, have him blow everybody away.
Right. Just bitch slap Galactus. That's how they end Phase 5. Or Phase 6, I suppose. Just bitch slap. Bitch slap.
Well, it's rumored Galactus is going to be the villain for the Fantastic Four movie, which, in my opinion, he's too big of a villain to do in a single movie. I would have him across several movies, and kind of like what they did with Thanos. But
yeah, that sucks. Well, that'll kind of tie into some of my issues with Quantumania, but anyways.
Also reported another live action Hellboy reboot is reportedly in progress at Millennium Media, with Crank, one of my favorite movies. Co-director Brian Taylor set to film in April.
Cool.
Did you see the previous reboot?
No.
It got a lot of shit. It wasn't. I can't say it's a good movie, but I still enjoyed watching it. It was kind of like there was kind of like several stories in it, and so it just kind of felt long. And because it was several stories, it didn't give the villain long enough to be like, ha ha ha, I'm the villain, you know?
Right.
And so I think that was some of its weaknesses, but it wasn't a bad movie. It's just Guillermo del Toro is like, his movies are great. and I think that's why part of the reason why it wasn't as strong. I mean, what are your thoughts on Hellboy?
I don't know. I didn't watch it. So
you didn't see the Guillermo del Toro movie?
Which one?
The first one.
No, I never saw it.
You've never seen any of the Hellboys?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, the first Hellboy. Yes, I saw the first one, not the second one.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Zoned out. I heard Guillermo del Toro and I started zoning out to Pacific Rim. I'm thinking,
well, he did the first two Hellboy movies.
Yeah.
And then the new one came out and it was a reboot.
Yeah.
I forget the guy who directed it. But yeah, that's what I mean. So his movies are very solid.
Right.
So I think that's also the problem with the reboot. But I'm really looking forward to another attempt at it, I guess.
I would rather
like Hellboy.
I would love to see it done in the style of like the Spawn animated series. I would love to see that. Stop doing live action with Hellboy, do animated. I think it'd be better.
I guess. I mean, I'm fine with. They did do an animated Hellboy movie. It was boring. I don't know. Hellboy needs to be, and this is why I think Guillermo del Toro did it well. It's got the crazy creatures, and the second, they go underground, and it's got that. If you haven't seen the second one, you really should. The world is they really go with the world building.
Okay.
It's awesome. But so I think he nailed it. But it needs to have that like kind of Men in Black
kind of vibe.
But yeah, but instead of it being aliens, it's
cryptids,
like creatures and things like that.
Yeah.
And I love the character because he's essentially fated to destroy the world, but he's also like a good guy, you know what I mean? Like, and I think Ron Perlman just nailed it,
No, knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I thought the guy from Stranger Things did an okay job. What's his name? David Harbour? He was all right. In the new one. I think he was just a decent Hellboy in a bad movie.
I don't think it was a bad movie, though. I just think it wasn't a good movie, I guess, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like, I love the scene where, again, it was just, they fit in several comics. I think it was 3 comics, or comic arcs, if you will. And that's why it didn't work.
Right.
Like the first one is he goes and finds that guy who was like a wrestler. And then the second part of the movie, he goes and then they fight a giant. And then the third part of the movie is the final act.
Right.
That doesn't work in movies, you can't, because you're watching 3 stories then,
Yeah.
I don't know. But what do you guys think? Are you excited for more Hellboy? Do you think it's over?
A reboot. Keep them
coming.
They're just going to keep digging until they hit the right movie.
I mean, how many reboots in Batman has there been? And some of them are awesome, some of them aren't,
Yeah. They just keep digging that well, man. You'll hit it eventually. Keep throwing money at it. It'll work.
Because how many have we had? We had the first 2 Batman movies, and then it switched over to Batman Forever.
Right.
And then we had Batman and Robin, right?
Yeah.
And then we had the Christian Bale Batman.
Right. And now we have Batflick.
And then we had the Snyder Batman, and then we had
Pattinson,
the Robert Bat. Yeah, right. And now we're getting another Batman in addition to Batman. That's a lot of Batman.
A lot of Batman. One big Bat family.
And everybody has their opinion as to who's the best Batman. I mean, I always say the greatest Batman of all time is Kevin Conroy.
Right. Long may he reign.
Who do you think's the best Bruce Wayne, though?
So,
because I don't think it's Kevin Conroy.
So can we talk the Flash trailer? Because it was so wonderful. So this will tie into what we're talking about.
Let's talk to the people. So people are upset because in the Flash trailer, I thought it was great. I go onto Twitter,
right,
and I'm not trying to pick because I know a lot of you guys watch our show. And my feelings on this. I love the Snyder movies. So just disclaimer there. But y'all hate the fucking Flash thing. And I feel like you looked for something to hate. Right. Because everybody's freaking out over that slow-mo shot where what's her name? Laura Lane, Laura Clark Lane,
Lana.
Laura Kent Lane.
Okay. Okay.
Laura Lane Kent, I can't remember, but basically Supergirl
Right.
comes out, and then the guy's about to shoot Batman, and it slows down, and she pushes the gun and sends him flying.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's bitching about that one scene.
Why?
They say it looks terrible. It looks like Bugs Bunny. The CGI is bad. Hey, the CGI is not done. They never finished the CGI.
Why do they do this for every trailer?
I don't know. I was talking to a lot of people, and I always say, like, you're picking on tiny little things that maybe aren't perfect,
mm-hmm.
and you're not looking at how awesome everything is.
Right. So the Flash trailer felt like the Spider-Man like Multiverse of Madness type thing. It's you're dealing with all the Batmans now. So we got the first look at the return of Michael Keaton as Batman. He is so fucking cool. He comes out. Of the shadow, he's got the cowl, the rubber neck, and he does the little grin and says, "I'm Batman," and it's cool. Just so good.
I thought the trailer looked dope. I'm super looking forward to this.
Right.
I mean, I know there's issues with Ezra Miller and everything, but that aside,
right,
the movie looks good. So I mean, and also let me throw out this. I did say this on Twitter, but just to anybody. So talking about that scene where she pushes him and he goes flying, people are like, why didn't his head just explode? Because, you know, boom, you hit him, his whole body wouldn't go.
Right.
And they're like, the physics are crazy in this.
Shut up.
It doesn't make any sense.
Shut up.
A, it's superhero movie, so what physics? We're talking about people that can just will themselves into the air.
Right.
But B, there is a comic book explanation. Why can a Kryptonian pick up something massive and they don't just go through it? Like, they can lift planes.
Right.
If physics were applied, then they would just jackknife their hands straight through the plane.
Right.
But they actually have an explanation. When a Kryptonian touches something, they can wheel their aura around it, thus spreading out the thing. That's why they can lift a plane and not like just go through it. So it is possible that when she pushed the gun into him and his face, not wanting to explode his head, I mean, he's going to die anyway, but maybe not wanting to get blood everywhere, she extended her aura around him.
Is this what they're bitching about, having the return of Michael Keaton and Batfleck is there? I'm pretty sure Christian Bale is going to be there. That's a nerdy rumor that Christian Bale
have you seen the Guardians trailer?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that trailer, sorry, the Guardians 3 poster.
Haven't seen the poster. Did see the trailer.
Yeah, well, the Guardians 3 poster, it says, like, the tagline is once again with feeling.
Right.
And it shows them all there. And rather than wearing their super suits, they're all in sweats and t-shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
So everybody online zoomed into Nebula.
Oh, is this complaining about her cleavage?
She doesn't have boobs.
Oh my god!
She's
yeah,
probably wearing a sports bra, and the shirt it's not a good fitting. It's
a frumpy shirt. Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah,
I've heard this.
And she's doing this.
Yeah,
I got into the longest debate on this because I was like, why does anybody care?
Right.
And then they're like, and everybody's saying, well, the big argument is we should have better quality things, and I'm like, you're missing. It's not even bad. The whole thing is she's dressed down like everybody. Star-Lord's in freaking sweatpants.
Right.
And it goes against the tagline once more with feeling.
Right.
And then the whole thing is she's striking a fake sexy pose.
Right.
It's not supposed to be sexy. It's supposed to be like
frumpy and yeah.
You know, and they're like, oh, it's just lazy. That's the fucking point. I mean, you know, like,
every last one of these people are going to go see the movie and give Disney that sweet, sweet cheddar.
I don't think there's anything James Gunn or the MCU can do. And I'm not saying there's not great. Like, I didn't like Eternals. So there is stuff that I didn't like in the MCU. But I don't think, no matter how good something is, either of those things can do, the internet's not going to shit all over it at this point.
Right.
And it's just like, just come on, guys. Like enjoy stuff. We live in a time period where obscure comic books are ruling the entertainment sphere.
Right.
And you guys are worried that you can't see Nebula's tits. It's fucking stupid.
Through a frumpy black, like, Like what I'm wearing right now. This is my Hoth gear, is what I call it.
Yeah, but you're a dude, so nobody's gonna say that to you.
Yep.
I mean, I don't want to get too political or anything, but that's fucking true. I mean, nobody was saying shit when Thor was a big fat guy. They were just like, it's Thor, a fat guy. And then people weren't like, oh, that looks bad. I hate this
now. Right.
I don't know.
But anyways, the Flash trailer, here's my prediction, is we see Ezra Miller Flash talking to another version of Ezra Miller Flash. He's wearing black and yellow. Now, if anybody knows anything about the Flash colors, what the implications are, at least in my head, probably some type of
Wally West.
Yes. But anyways, it was awesome to see Keaton back as Batman. He looks great. I love how he was kind of like everyman buff. Like, he wasn't like shredded. He was just like an every dude who was.
That was what Tim Burton. One of the reasons he went with Michael Keaton, because people were like, Michael Keaton.
Right.
That's a weird choice. But one of the things Tim Burton said is no, it's Batman is supposed to be your average guy. I think that's changed since.
Right.
But at the time that was very true. Tim Burton definitely understood Batman at a time when I don't think anybody did.
Right.
Because before that we had Bat West, who, I mean, it's true to the character. You can't, people who say that, like, I always get into arguments over this online. Oh, it's not comic accurate. What do you mean? Like, which version?
Right.
And that is a true to character Batman people love. Also, that's the Batman I would be. If you could be any Batman, which Batman would you be? I for me, it's got to be Bat West.
Right.
Because that's got the best lifestyle.
Right, of course. Serendipitous lifestyle.
Yeah, you fucking hang out.
A lot of whimsy.
They do dances and stuff. Yeah, no, like there's no tragedy, no sadness. He's just hanging out with his boy. Yeah. Your villains are kind of jokes. I mean,
yeah.
Nobody has guns.
For sure. Yeah. Flashpoint.
Yeah, I thought the trailer looked dope. I mean,
I'm stoked for it. I actually have a Michael Keaton, the plastic Batman figure. I think everybody had it at some point of my generation.
Yeah, and the big question is that going to be Christian Bale when he was in the...
So I thought it was going to be Christian Bale. It looks like Christian Bale, and that'd be a weird thing to have be Batfleck, because even the way it was shot was very reminiscent of Dark Knight Returns. It looked like that, but it is rumored that that's going to be like the big multiversal like reveal, like with what we had with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield with Spider-Man. Is yes, there's
2 seconds. I gotta grab a binder.
Yep.
Ugh.
And it's there's been a lot of rumor about Christian Bale coming back. There's the rumor that he's going to be now the head of the James Gunn Bat family as the older Batman, having alluded to having that One Night with Talia. So they've already kind of had the loose groundwork for it. So,
at first I was like, no, and then I was like, well, yeah, it was one of those things I like talked myself into. You can go back and watch that episode and watch my reaction
right.
Lifetime. I was like, this sounds stupid. And then I was like, well, you know what? And then I just started convincing myself, like, I'm actually okay with it. Yeah. I mean, I think Christian Bale, though, like, he's a very intense actor.
Just his Batman noise comes from like the nasal area. It should come from the throat.
The voice, though, yeah.
Just not from here, from like down here from the diaphragm. It needs to be that gravelly baritone.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, I mean, to me, and it's just because it's too legendary. Nothing will top it. The Bat voice should be Kevin Conroy. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's you're never gonna top that, no matter how hard you try. The closest in the live action, in my opinion, or the best one, I thought, was actually Batfleck, because he used like electronics and stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's a cool,
Yeah, it's an interesting take. I sort of like Pattinson, just at low gravel. I like that. He wasn't over the top. He had a nice. I still think the best "I'm Batman" line was delivered by Michael Keaton. Just there's this coolness to it, like I'm Batman. There's this cool confidence, suave. So who is also my favorite Bruce Wayne, by the way, is Michael Keaton, because you can see how disconnected he is from everything. Even
I was gonna say, yeah. So he's my favorite Bruce Wayne.
yeah,
Because anytime you see him as Bruce Wayne,
he's just elsewhere, and he does.
Yeah, he's not really into it. He doesn't give a shit. Like when they're at that party and stuff, he's very kind of whatever. He's more focused on being Batman,
right?
And I mean, that's something they've established for the character is that Batman doesn't think of himself in his mind as Bruce. He thinks of himself as Batman.
Right. Good on him. Anyways, I'm excited for that. What else do we have in nerdy news?
Yeah, I think it looks dope.
I think so too.
Update on I Am Legend 2.
What?
So we know it's going to have Will Smith and Michael B. Jordan, which I think I'd like to see those two together.
Have they been together in something before?
If they have, I don't know.
No. Oh no, never mind. I was thinking that one After Earth with Will Smith.
Oh, with his son?
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, that movie was terrible.
Yeah.
I'm being mean to people. Like I always try and be like, it's in my opinion, but no, that movie was just shit.
Objectively bad.
I mean, I guess like if you liked it, whatever. I mean, sure. But
have a good day.
But the story, but details have been revealed that the sequel is set to take decades after the 2007 original. So I guess would that be
modern day
2027?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean modern day, but I mean the world was already having an apocalypse, so
right.
It would be more apocalyptic, I guess.
Yes. More dystopian. Okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean the problem with that movie was
they missed the point of the movie. Yeah.
It was that he was supposed to be the villain.
Yeah.
And they just let's blow everybody up with a grenade at the end, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I guess.
I don't like scenes where they kill dogs.
Also true. That was pretty tough to watch, but I like the first one. It's just again they missed the whole purpose of the thing.
But that's what let it down so hard,
right?
I mean, it was an entertaining enough movie, but then when it builds up to nothing, I think endings are so powerful that the rest of the movie can be not so good, and then an ending can just. You and I disagree on this film, but God, what was that one? It's a B movie where they're hiding themselves in like a rich guy's apartment as aliens show up, and something add light in the name, I think. But
okay.
The whole movie.
Batteries Not Included? Was that?
No, that was an old 80s movie.
I love that movie.
No, this is a movie you didn't like. But the whole movie, it's like a B movie of them hiding from aliens, right?
Okay.
And then the end happens, and for the ending, they go, it comes out of nowhere.
Skyline. Yes, Skyline.
And the ending, to me, I'm watching this whole movie and I'm thinking, yeah, this movie's fine. And the ending blew my mind at how cool it was.
Well, yeah.
And for me, that saved the whole movie.
They put the dude's brain in the big berserker alien body, and then we get the coolest part of the movie at the last 5 minutes of the movie, three minutes of which were credits. Of just still,
but because that's what I'm saying. The power of endings is so powerful that ending saved the whole movie for me. And it's kind of the opposite for I Am Legend. The endings are so powerful that the ending ruined the whole movie.
Yeah. But let's have another one. Yeah. Maybe they'll get it right this time.
Maybe they will. I don't know. I mean, if it's good, it's good. I mean,
sure.
That's all. That's all we can really ever say about anything.
Speaking of Michael B. Jordan, we got the Creed 3 trailer, him punching things in another arena.
He said something about like the fighting's going to be inspired by Dragon Ball. Like how?
So probably just with the really fast movement, with the punches. I can see that. If you watch the trailer and see how he hits the speed bags, you can kind of. I see.
He's got fast hand speed.
Yeah. So if
that dude's in amazing shape.
Oh, creamy.
I wish I was as sexy as him too. Like, I know it's a weird thing to say, but I've watched him on interviews and stuff, and they've had like prominent, very attractive female celebrities, and like they've like turned to the camera and been like, and he's completely oblivious to it, and or like, and it's just like, so, and I mean, the best I can say is like, okay, so apparently that is the specimen of man right there that all women think is attractive.
Yes.
Why can't that? Yeah, I guess Chris Hemsworth would be the white guy version of that. I don't know, because I've seen the same things said about him.
I still think that the true essence of like the perfect specimen in my head is Harrison Ford. Perfect dad bod, a little muscular, not buff, but he's got that almost like a beer keg body where he's got that dad strength. You don't want to fuck with that.
Like dad strength is something you don't want to.
Like that's but I think you're looking at it as a boss.
I think you're looking at it as a guy, not as a woman. But or I guess I don't know. It's hard to even say now because everything's a spectrum. But who do you think is the hottest male celebrity? There you go. That's a question.
Idris Elba. There you go. That is my answer.
His voice I mean, like I'm going to go with Michael B. Jordan, but Chris Hemsworth as an honorable mention. I know my friend, fellow nerd Diana. She loves, also known as the Ice Queen. Look her up on Twitter, or I guess Instagram or the internet. You'll find her. But yeah, Chris Hemsworth obviously is one of these people. Also, I rewatched what was that movie, Winter Soldier, and there's a scene I love where they're Black Widow's like on the computer and they're at that computer store, and that guy comes over and he's like oh, I have the same glasses, and she's like, wow, you two are practically twins, and he's like, oh, I wish. Specimen.
You know? All right. Did the Imperials find you, you rebel scum?
I have someone's. It's Adrian actually posted them. Anywho, that's really all I have in the news. Do you have any nerdy news for us?
I mean, if you want to just go through the remaining Super Bowl trailers, so we.
Well, yeah. I mean, I figured we'd do trailers. I mean, so,
yeah, that's
go for it.
So we talked about Flashpoint. The Beast Wars movie looks cool. Turns out the Transformer we saw, I guessed it, Mirage. Looks like he's going to be the central Transformer we're going to be following. Looks cool. I
think it's a good idea to follow a single Transformer.
Yeah, that's
because that's what made Bumblebee such a strong movie.
Just bring it down. Just reduce it to.
Well, if you have too many characters, like it works when you have a movie like Avengers,
right?
But Avengers was set up by so many movies already,
right?
That you're established it, and you're this is the payoff,
right?
Whereas Transformers, I don't think they've earned that.
No.
You know, and so yeah, we need to have the various different, like, focus on a character, and then maybe eventually do something kind of like.
I'm glad
you can still have other Transformers, but just don't have them be the focus.
No, of course, but make them recognizable, not like the Bayverse where you just, what is that? I don't know.
Well, again, I mean, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I was watching a video where they showed children. The 1980s, the original Transformers trailer and cartoon, and they were very confused, and they didn't think it was cool, and I guess they liked the Michael Bay. The line that got me was it showed the like classic Optimus with the big gun, the gun he always has,
right?
And they go, Optimus Prime would never use a gun.
What?
Well. And that's because they don't know him as that, you know what I mean? And they loved the Michael Bay stuff.
He swings around a giant fucking axe if he wants to. Big energon blade. Also, I'm excited for this movie. It looks good. You know how much.
So I will give one bit of praise for the original Michael Bay one, not the sequels, but the first one. And I think I've talked about it before, but the weight and movement and angles of the shot.
The physics
are fantastic, and for whatever reason, they ignored all that in the sequels. Like, there's a scene where a Transformer just goes, and then, like, you're just like, what the hell is that?
This planet needed him.
Yeah, I guess.
But anyways, that looked great. We had the Guardians Volume 3 trailer. Looks great. Looks like High Evolutionary is going to be the villain. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah. They've announced that it's High Evolutionary.
I predict Rocket, Drax, and Gamora are going to be the three that are going to be not making it. We see more of Adam Warlock. I'm not sure what they're going to do with the gem, because he originally had the soul gem in his forehead. So I'm not sure how they're going to handle that. But I can see, because they're dealing with the timelines now, and this Gamora is essentially like a temporal anomaly. She shouldn't be in the present because she died already. So I can see.
My thought is the way that they're upping the ante is they went, okay, so we had Thanos, who would affect the universe, and then now they're going Kang, and they've said timelines, and they've set up multiverse.
Yep.
So Kang is going to be, okay, I'm the big bad guy now, and I'm going to affect all reality, time, and universes.
Right.
And so that's how they're upping the ante. It's not just one universe anymore.
Yeah, and they do touch on that in Quantumania also. We'll talk about it in my review. It looked great. I love Guardians before everybody else thought they were cool. I have not from the original run, but I have the issue where Groot meets Rocket. I have that issue. It's great how they kind of ended up together. It's drastically different in the comics than how they did it in the movies, but it's fine. Got season 3 of Mandalorian, looked great. God, just done in that old school, was it with a Master and Cub type deal with Grogu?
Yeah.
Just wonderful. Looks like we are.
I enjoyed season 2, but I hope season 3 isn't just them doing backdoor trailers for other shows again.
Yeah.
Focus on the 2 characters, I mean, why not?
Right.
Also, I mean, they've already set up some plot lines that they can follow. So yeah. I mean, I think the Mandalorian is still the best. Well, maybe tied with Andor. Those are the 2 best things that have come out of Star Wars recently.
I concur. Looks.
If you haven't seen Andor, by the way, check it out. I was a little burnt out on a lot of Star Wars stuff, but Andor,
it's refreshing.
It's refreshing, but it is like, if you compare Andor to Mandalorian, they're very different.
Right.
Mandalorian is fantasy, and Andor is more
grounded,
brought down to earth. Yeah.
Right. Also, we had Indiana Jones 5. The search for Harrison Ford's arthritis medication. Leave him alone. Stop making these movies. Leave it alone.
Surely he could just decide not to.
I don't get it, but we do get to see a de-aged Harrison Ford. He looks great. But there's one scene in the trailer that keeps showing, and it drives me nuts because it looks so dumb. Is you have these 2 like little buggy cars kind of chasing each other. Indy jumps from one to the other, but he's 85 years old. Stop it. Just stop it. I don't believe it anymore. Just just wheel him out into the sunny pastures and just let him retire. Just leave
Again,
him.
I mean, I guess it's probably on him.
It probably is, but I don't know. Am I going to watch it? Yes. Am I going to like it? I can't tell you yet, but
yeah, I want to.
He belongs in a museum. That's it.
Shall we go on to your review of Ant-Man?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. So I had the privilege of saying
Cap saw Ant-Man. I have not. So let's keep it mostly spoiler free.
Yeah, mostly spoiler free. It felt like, and I guess the writers also worked on the show. the first two Ant-Man were almost written like fun heist movies. This one was written in the style of like a Rick and Morty type, like sci-fi genre. It was good, not great.
Well, critics so far are not liking it. Audiences are.
It was fine enough. Kang.
Well, how was the effects? Because I heard that's a complaint.
Okay, so let's talk about the effects. No spoilers. Everybody knows MODOK is in the movie. I won't go into details past that about the character, but they treat MODOK the way MODOK is always initially treated in any media where, hey, what the hell is that? It's a frost giant's head on a baby's body. Like, he's a joke.
Well, that's what you want.
Yeah. So he is a punchline, but it's a big head. So I can get why they had like the faceplate that comes down. It still looks silly. It looks like a tiki idol. But, even with this face and you just see the head, it looks stupid. But how practically do you make that look good? Like,
well, you don't. He's supposed to be stupid.
Right. So people saying that, oh, MODOK looks terrible, he looks stupid. It's like you're kind of missing the point of the character.
Yeah, but I heard because the whole thing most of the movie takes place in the quantum realm.
So the quantum realm, I thought it looked gorgeous. You can tell certain points where, oh, that's clearly somebody standing on a set, and you can see it. So I agree to some extent, but I don't think it's as bad as what people say. It didn't take me out of the movie. I thought Scene Stealer Kang was fantastic. Apparently, the actor took inspiration from Heath Ledger's Joker. You can see a little bit of it there. Michelle Pfeiffer is incredible. The two of them kind of steal the movie, I think. It was.
Where do you put it in our rating system?
It's a lower end of Shut Up and Take My Money.
Okay.
I still think the best of the three is the first Ant-Man, because this is a movie that I had zero expectations for. I didn't even see in the theaters, and I regret not seeing it in theaters because it was a fun heist movie, and even the second one was a fun heist movie. This one didn't even have like his buddies in it, so
I think the second one's probably my favorite. It just hit me just perfectly between comedy and
this you don't take
and like to the heist movie, and it was just. I just love so many parts of it. I like the part where he's on the truck and he's like pushing it.
Yeah, he's pushing like a little. I'll say this: a lot of the universe stuff within the microverse is phenomenal. Everything is like amoebas and just organic. Like the buildings that they live in are alive, and it's really bizarre. And I like that because it felt very unique. It felt alien. Like I couldn't pinpoint anything in any other media that would come close to describing what they created in this universe. So I thought that was cool. The characters they're okay. There were some introductions to I couldn't tell you their names. But there are two post-credit scenes. It lays around the foundation. It's very, without spoiling anything, it's very Rick and Morty. In fact, there's one part in the movie not spoiling because they kind of show it in the trailers where they enter a probability field, and it's very similar to season 2 episode 1 of Rick and Morty, where Rick accidentally splits the probabilities and they're trying to reunite all the probabilities, and it's like they have to be certain, and uncertainty breeds more probabilities. So it kind of touches
Sounds
on
Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yeah, so it touches on that a little bit, but I mean, that Kang was great. MODOK, I wish we got more MODOK, but from what we had, I guess it's their version of MODOK. They've established a multiverse where Patton Oswalt is a MODOK. So there's a Deadpool movie coming out. I'm sure we might see a MODOK pool, or Pool Doc. I forget what he's called her. I think it's just Dead Dog. But anyways, he was fine.
There's a universe where there's a Trump MODOK.
Yes.
And because MODOK is what do you call it, an acronym or whatever?
Yeah.
But instead it's America's King,
right?
Instead of like designed to kill or something.
So in this one, it was interesting to hear. We did get Bill Murray in an MCU cameo.
No.
It's a small cameo, but it was fun hearing him say, "Oh well, there's a mobile organism designed only for killing." Going after them, so it was fun to see to hear that. I heard that, I'm like, oh, I know what that means. Even though in the comic it's mental organism, it changes a lot. But.
Yeah, they've changed it up several times. All right, well, so it sounds like you're recommending people check it out, but you just don't think it's like their best.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun because he's there in his little floaty chair, and you know how.
Well, so compared to Eternals in terms of like,
I liked it more than the Eternals, because Eternals, I really liked the Eternals the first time I saw it, but looking back, I couldn't tell you anything about it. It just kind of.
I think that's the weakest MCU movie so far, Eternals.
Yeah.
But you know,
I could see what they were doing.
I
likened it to Watchmen a little bit, tiny bit, but just.
I don't think the MCU has actually made. I mean, a lot of people disagree with me on this, but whatever. It's my opinion. I don't care. But I don't think the MCU has actually made a bad movie.
Right.
I think the worst they've ever made is a mediocre movie.
Right. Hold on. Gotta reach over.
It looks like.
Yeah. So this one, it was a fun movie. It's
all right.
Yeah, it was fun. It was.
I'll probably check it out.
Money. Oh, my dog is. So my dog has the itchy. She wants me to scratch her ear. There you go, Popos. Good girl. Oh, my dog has gross ears. Cleaning her ears.
So, I mentioned already. I saw that Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. I love Devil Dinosaur. Is on Disney. I didn't realize it was already out. I decided to watch it. I know it's a kid show, but it's very much a kid show. That said, I've enjoyed some kid shows, but this one, no. I love the art style. I thought the art style was really cool. It had a couple of jokes where I was like,
Okay.
But overall, it was so choppy.
Okay.
I couldn't follow it, and I just I kept zoning out.
Right.
And I was thinking about Devil Dinosaur comics the whole time.
Okay.
And then I just gave up. So yeah.
So not your cup of tea.
I don't know. I mean, I'd give it a death by Snoo Snoo.
Death by Snoo Snoo. A lot of those that much.
Yeah.
Well,
not my thing.
Right. Did you want to get in Battle Nerds?
It's out. If you guys have a different opinion, let me know. Normally we do Last of Us, but there is no Last of Us this week.
Nope.
There's one today, though, right?
Yes, there's one today.
So we'll watch it today, and we'll review it next Sunday.
I've been watching Doom Patrol really quick. Love it.
Yeah, Doom Patrol is great.
Oh, so good.
Do you want to break it up? We'll do Battle Nerds and then roll into Behold Nerds?
Yeah, let's do it. Battle Nerds round. Oh my goodness, what round are we at? Like 46, I think.
It's got to be around there.
Yep.
Battle Nerds is a show where we have a list of 100 iconic characters. We random roll characters to see which ones we get, and then we have to come up with a convincing argument, regardless of who we get, as to why that character would win a fight. A couple of the rules we kind of are pretty loose with our battles. We allow battlefield removal.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, because it's such a bizarre game, we argue pretty bizarre wins.
Right.
But last week we did Goku versus Mary Poppins. With every show, we always put up a poll on Twitter afterwards, so you guys can vote who you thought won. You can also message us here or anywhere. And the big winner was Goku. Not really surprised because I think Goku's going to be a hard one to beat because the internet loves them some Goku.
I think Spock can take out Goku.
Yeah, maybe if our fellow nerd retweets us to his Star Trek audience.
Yes.
Yeah, Spock always comes through.
I say we should trigger the internet by having the two of them compete, knowing that our fans.
I'm wondering if the dice gods see fit. What if we get a Superman versus Goku?
No way. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. So Mary Poppins is off the list. That was a fun fight, though. That was a really fun fight. That was a good one.
So Mary Poppins is off the list. Goku goes on for his first win. I mean, I don't know what you guys were thinking. I mean, I had to argue for Goku. I came up with a pretty good argument, I thought.
Yeah.
But when I think about it, I think Mary Poppins, and what's he going to do? Like, and she'd just be like,
turns into butterflies.
A spoonful of sugar, you know?
Right. Well, again, she's was it the fifth dimensional being, the fourth dimensional?
Similar to a DC's fifth dimensional being.
Yeah, so
different though, but yeah.
But similar. But anyway, so we have the long-awaited Inuyasha versus Wolverine in this week's match. You are going to be fighting for Inuyasha. I'm not a fan. We all know this. I will be representing Wolverine. This is an interesting fight. So, what version of Inuyasha? We each get to pick a version of character.
Well, I'm doing the anime. I mean, as far as I know, there's two versions of Inuyasha. There's the manga, and then there's the anime. I've watched the anime. I know this is sacrilege to some people. I'm lazy. I watch dubs, whatever. Yeah. But I watched the dubbed Inuyasha anime, both the original and then when they came back for Final Act. And so I've seen the whole thing. I think I've watched it twice now.
Right.
I love Inuyasha. It's like watching a soap opera.
Yeah.
Where one of the guys is a half demon and has a giant sword, and he does awesome shit. It's such a good anime that when we get to those filler episodes, which is just like them hanging out, I still have a good time. You know, like I'm like, this is great. Let's go to the real world.
Right.
Oh, he trashed her bike. And he's got a bicycle. I'm like, oh no, what's she gonna do? And it's just sit boy and goes bam. And I'm like, I love the whole thing.
So there are many versions of Wolverine. There's actually a manga version that he has a laser claw on one arm that's pretty cool. There's one where he has this indestructible blade that can cut through things on sever the bonds of molecules. So I'm trying to think what would be like the perfect version of Wolverine to fight against Inuyasha. And then it hit me. Your favorite version of Wolverine.
I figured you were going to go with that
Mayor
version.
Governor Howlett. Yes. Governor of Canada.
One of my guildmates I was talking to, because he was like, yeah, people only ever want to see the regular versions of these characters. I was like, dude, the coolest version of Wolverine is where he's the gay Wolverine married to fucking Hercules.
And they fight their way to hell.
And he's got adamantine instead. And he's like, that comic wouldn't sell. And I pulled up and I'm like, yeah, dude, it sold really well.
Right. Really? You knew I was going to pick this one?
I figured just because he's like, A, you know I love him, and B, like,
he's powerful.
I know you, so.
What? I could have gone with Weapon H, or the one where he has the celestial armor.
I was sort of wondering, like, there is like the new Wolverine, his daughter. She's become pretty cool, I have to admit. I like her character. They just did the new because Wolverine does the, what's that called, the fastball special.
Yeah,
where like Colossus throws him.
Yep.
Oh god, I'm blanking on her name, but her teammate that can control metal, like Magneto. They just updated the fastball special, and she chucks her using her control of metal, and it's awesome. I really, really like Wolverine right now. I think she's really cool.
Nice.
Every time I read a Wolverine, like the modern Wolverine, I'm always like, damn. It's one of those situations like where Dick Grayson took over for Batman, and you're like, oh, it's not a regular Batman, but you're like, this is fucking cool.
Right.
I feel the same way about Wolverine.
Yeah. So what's Logan doing then? What's his deal?
Well, he died. So
again.
No, he died a while ago, but he's back. But when he died, his daughter took over.
Okay, so he died. He gave Uncle Ben a high five, and then he just.
Well, did you not read his death comic?
No,
he gets
I didn't read
covered in liquid adamantium, which hardens.
Oh, okay.
So he's
just
dead.
Right.
Yeah. But then he broke out somehow. I don't know if they've explained
angered
it
his way out of it. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so why do you think Wolverine can take on Inuyasha?
Well, if you want to compare feats, on his honeymoon, he spent 3 years fighting his way through the layers of hell, or sorry, levels of hell. I don't know enough about Inuyasha, but he's immune to telepathy, which is great. He once parried an optic blast, which is pretty fast on the reflexes there. Plus, he seems like a, I don't know, much more gentleman Wolverine. Like, he still has the rage and the power and the healing factor, but he seems a little bit more.
He's got those awesome freaking
The chops, bro. Yes.
Yeah.
Just for that alone. But I don't know Inuyasha, so how do you think Inuyasha would win? Because I just see Wolverine coming in and just, all right,
in some ways is similar to Wolverine in that they're both kind of feral. They've got claws. Inuyasha's are on his fingers, though.
Yeah.
Shut up, cat.
As is
Inuyasha is a
Brimstone's.
Yeah. Inuyasha is a half demon. He the dog demon, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
His father is a legendarily powerful dog demon.
Okay.
And he had two sons, one a full demon, one a half demon. Inuyasha being the half demon. So he's got basic things like super strength, super speed, and superhuman durability. Like he's been stabbed completely through,
right?
And he shrugs it off.
Okay.
He can't handle hot food though.
Okay.
Kagome even once pointed out because stop, please. Come on. Kagome once pointed out because he ate spicy food and he was freaking out about it.
Right.
And she was like, "That's surprising for a guy that shrugs off a hole in the stomach."
Right.
But yeah, so and then his main weapon is the Tetsaiga, which looks like a kind of old dented katana, and then it turns into like a massive falchion, or full blade or whatever you want to call it, like absolutely huge. And it's the sword is made from his father's fang, and then later Inuyasha's fang is used to repair it once it's broken. With the sword, he's got moves without the sword because it's anime. You know, they do like they have special moves and they yell.
Well, of course.
Like he can dip his claws into his chest and get him bloodied and throw it, and it's called Blades of Blood. But he's also got Iron Reaver, Soul Stealer, and then with the sword, I blank on all of these, but the one that was most famous originally was let me pull it up. Windscar. Windscar is famous because it basically throws out a hurricane of blades.
Okay.
It can kill 100 demons in a single swing. Then there's the backlash wave. Not really relevant for this fight, but let's say you hit, like Goku goes like Kamehameha, you could absorb it and then turn it into like a tornado that would rip things apart.
Interesting.
Barrier Shatter, it turns red and you can break barriers with it. We're useful if he's going up against like the Invisible Woman or something.
Right.
Adamant Barrage.
Yes.
Throws out like diamond pieces of adamant, which I'm guessing is like adamantium.
Okay.
And in a wide burst and cuts through just about anything. And then his final moves. Come on, cat. What are you doing?
He wants out.
Is the what's it called? Vortex of Demon Energy. Is that it? Basically, oh, here it is. Dark Path Cutting Moonwave. It opens a slice into hell.
Okay.
Or you can do a perfect, so it cuts you in half by cutting through dimensions.
Okay.
Or it can do a perfect version, which is a big like circular one, and it sucks you into hell.
Okay.
So basically, I see this fight going like this. Let's go, bub. Snicked. And then he's like, okay, Adamant Barrage. And then Wolverine's just okay.
So Here's the thing: adamantine is as strong as adamantium, but it's got the ability to use magic. It's magically.
It blocks psychic energy and stuff like that.
So is Inuyasha's? It's also is Inuyasha's blade like magical at all? It's a demon blade.
As magic as anything
could he penetrate adamantine with a tooth of a demon guy that Wolverine probably just?
Can the adamant barrage do it? It would definitely slow him down.
Okay,
but I would assume. I don't know if it doesn't. Then I follow up with the Path of the Dark, whatever, and cut him in half by cutting through dimensions,
right? But
or just suck him into hell.
Okay, so he gets sucked into hell. He spent 3 years fighting his way through hell on his honeymoon.
That's still a win in our book. That's a battlefield removal. It's over. You're in hell.
No, that doesn't count.
Yes, it does.
I see this going down. Inuyasha is doing all.
But he shows up 3 years later. But you're back in hell.
No, he shows up. He shows up 3 years later with his father's head, and just plops it down and says, "Here's
whose father's head."
Inuyasha's father's head.
Oh, because he's in. I don't know if he's in hell or not.
I don't know. It's
he was a good guy.
Oh, I don't know. Hell, wherever. A good demon. A good demon. Interesting.
Yeah. That was his whole point. He was. He actually saved like the world, and that's why he died. He fought like some epically powerful thing.
Awesome. I still don't see Inuyasha just being able.
I don't see how Wolverine wins.
You can't. How do you stop the Wolverine? This guy once fought his way through the entire rogues gallery of the X-Men by himself. Like
you cut him in half by cutting through dimensions. You send him to hell until he can fight his way out 5 years later.
Okay, so would he lead with that attack? Because I see the two of them going at each other, and Wolverine just being Wolverine.
Inuyasha can tank a lot of that stuff because, like you said, he shrugs off holes in the belly, and he's strong enough and fast enough to at least fight him. But but yes, to answer your question, yes, hilariously, when Inuyasha was in, so he came over to the real world a couple of times, and there was a fish demon. It's kind of a silly episode. They were putting on a high school play because Kagome is in high school, and this fish demon, it was just a fish. It was a big fish that was flopping around, couldn't do anything.
Nice.
Inuyasha showed up, and then he does wind scar, and he blows the side off of the freaking what do you call it, high school. Nice. And all the kids are like, holy shit. And that's the point. Inuyasha doesn't start with, hey, I'm just gonna fight you. He pulls his biggest weapon out and hits you with his biggest attack. That's just how that guy rolls.
Okay, what's his healing factor? Like, how good is he?
It's not as good as Wolverine's. Wolverine, I mean, depending on which, sometimes Wolverine heals instantly, sometimes he doesn't. But
I don't see Inuyasha being any stronger than any demon that he fought or any devil that he fought in the years.
If Inuyasha didn't have these big attacks, I totally give it to Wolverine. If it was just base Inuyasha with his claws, Wolverine. The fact that he's got adamant barrage and he can cut through dimensions, dude, it's just too big. Right. I mean, even if he started with the wind scar, which is his weakest big attack, it's still gonna fuck Wolverine up hardcore. Yes, he's gonna come back.
No, he's gonna come back though, always.
Absolutely.
Wolverine has fought till he was a skeleton. There's a
right. But my point is though, he's gonna come back from that. It's still gonna take him down a notch, and then he's just gonna keep escalating attacks if he doesn't already start with his biggest attack. And so that's what I'm saying. Wolverine, yes, stupid powerful, like he can fight, and but Inuyasha's attacks are just too powerful. Wolverine, like I said, he can cut through dimensions.
Okay, so
there's nothing that Wolverine has that's that level.
Inuyasha hits him with this tornado blast, blows off his fleshy bits. He's down to his skeleton. He just jumps out of the explosion, just double punch to the head. Inuyasha's dead.
Well, yeah, okay, but he's Inuyasha's still skilled enough to he's got superhuman speed, strength. He can still fight him. Yeah, I'm sure. And then all he has to do is then hit him with a bigger attack.
Even after getting stabbed by Wolverine in the face.
You're assuming it's going to go in his head. He's not stupid. He knows how to fight.
Okay.
I mean, like, and he's at least I'm guessing he's faster and stronger than Wolverine, so he could probably block it. But I mean, let's assume they're on par. At the bare minimum, they're on par. But I assume he's faster. So I mean, what Wolverine has over him is better healing factor, and he's a better fighter. But it's just Inuyasha. He's got those big hits, and he's tough enough to tank most of what Wolverine has. Now, if Wolverine came from him when he was, there's one day a year where Wolverine can win, and that's when there's a new moon and he goes back to being a regular human. Best bet. Or if he could somehow get the Tetsaiga away from him.
Is that the
if he can get the Tetsaiga away from him, he becomes more powerful because he goes full demon and he like super feral and everything. But he loses his big hits. I think Wolverine could beat regular Inuyasha. It's the Tetsaiga. You got to get past that thing. And that thing is a fucking beast.
I mean, if you want, we can go the version of Wolverine that has the celestial armor. That's another fun one. But I wanted to do the major Howlet.
Yeah, I know. It's just, like I said, Inuyasha is a powerhouse.
So there are versions of Wolverine that, and I wanted to go with a part of me did want to go with the heaviest hitter of Wolverine, which
I'm surprised you didn't. I mean, you didn't know enough about Inuyasha.
I don't know about Inuyasha, but if I were to go the most, there's two versions that I would go with. It would either be the one where Wolverine has essentially Apocalypse's armor. He's got the celestial armor that can crack open celestials. Murders everybody. I think this is post Age of Apocalypse, I think, is when this happens. Murders everybody mercilessly. It's super cool. There's another version that I almost went with just for the ease of it, which was a version of Wolverine where he gets infected by the Pharynx virus. So one single slice, one single cut would have just incapacitated Inuyasha, and it would essentially be like a one-hit kill because all he would need to do is
but I mean, again, Inuyasha has one-hit kills.
Yeah. So
yeah, and like that's the thing with Inuyasha, like it's usually a good argument because in most anime they don't just start with their biggest blast, but it's kind of like Inuyasha's an idiot because he doesn't. It would be like you know like when he's so much more powerful than say a weak demon, and they've often called him on this. He doesn't just kill the demon with his claws or something or a basic sword swing. He's kind of an idiot and goes for his biggest hit no matter what he's fighting. And that's it's almost done for comedic effect.
Right.
So I mean, but it's one of the interesting things about Inuyasha.
Interesting.
And on top of that, you know, he's got all the other stuff. So I actually, this is one of the few times where I agree with what I rolled. I give it to Inuyasha. But it sounds like you believe Wolverine's just that skilled enough a fighter that he can.
I mean, I didn't know Inuyasha, so I went with the fun version of Wolverine instead of coming in with the bigger barrels. So let the fans vote. We have about 10 minutes to re-roll and talk about our latest Beholdners before we have to skedaddly do. So,
all right. Well, I predict the fans are going to keep going with Wolverine, but we'll see. Anime surprises you.
I rolled a 46.
I have to keep re-rolling. Nope. Still no.
No.
Nope. There we go. Okay, 46.
Yes.
I will. Oh, I don't have it open. Please, cat. We don't got much longer.
Fuck you. I want out.
He wants attention. You got a 46?
Yep.
Okay, returning fighter Thanos.
Oh. Thanos is fought before?
I have to re-roll again because I got Wolverine and he's currently battling, so. Let's see. This one is very uneven, and I'm going to have to try real hard. It is Thanos versus Nightwing.
They make it work. I mean,
I'll come up
if
with
you're to
something.
scale it to comparison, Darkseid versus Batman, like you can work with that.
Yeah, I guess I can see that. But yeah, I'll come up with something. So anyway, so tune in next week for Thanos versus Nightwing. And then make sure to vote either here, anywhere, message us. You can email us. It doesn't matter. As to who you think won, Wolverine or Inuyasha, and we'll give you guys the results next week. So, Behold Nerds is our weekly show, a weekly segment where we take a look at a movie, TV show, something of that nature, and we discuss it. This week was Cap's pick,
My favorite,
and he picked Encino Man.
yes.
A lot of you guys have mentioned about how fond you remember this movie. I'm interested to know what people thought after they've rewatched it. I rewatched it not that long ago, and I rewatched it last night. It was something to sit through. What did you think upon your rewatch, Cap? Hang on, I'm gonna get drinks soon.
Oh my goodness gracious! So I picked this because of watching Doom Patrol, saw Brendan Fraser. It's like, you know what? Let's pick up a whole nerds with the Brendan Fraser thing. It was either going to be the Mummy.
It was the movie that gave us Brendan Fraser and Pauly Shore.
Yeah. So, buddy, oh my goodness gracious, where to begin? The actor Sean Astin, Goonies voice actor, 50 First Dates, is a complete tool in this movie.
Oh, he's an ass.
He's almost worse than the bully in this movie. Like, it's awful.
Yeah, the way he treats his friends and
it's just awful. He's a selfish prick. So, this movie is stupid. It is a product of its era, and there's one F-bomb. Lovely.
You have to really what's it called? Suspension of disbelief. You have to do a lot of that in this movie.
Right. Like, how do you go from being arrested 1 minute and then, oh, you're back home in the next scene? And, oh, I'm just grounded.
Nobody cares, yeah.
Nobody cares. Like, the cops were involved.
They're like, yeah, we got a caveman. Hey, remember the foreign exchange? And he's like, oh, yeah. And like, oh, the kitchen is wrecked. There's stuff everywhere. The parents are just like, whatever. Okay. You know?
Whatever. So, this was a stupid movie. I haven't seen this movie in years, but I enjoyed rewatching it. It's a product of its time, but it did give us it did give us Pauly Shore. Say what you like about the guy. He went on to make such classics as Biodome, voice on the Goofy movie. It's fun. It's a dumb 90s movie. It was fun. Shut up and take my money. It's dumb.
Okay.
It's bad, but it's charming bad.
When you suggested this movie, I didn't really want to sit through it again. Like you said, the main character, I just find him, he's such a prick.
But that makes you like Pauly Shore more. I think the whole movie.
It did make you like Pauly Shore more because Pauly Shore was the reasonable kind of one. You're like his whole the plot and the character arc for the main character is he's a selfish prick. He's using his friends. He doesn't really care about anything except what they can give him.
Right.
And then at the very end of the movie, he's like, you know what? You're right. I am being an ass. And then it's like all over. Right. And then
the end.
Yeah. And then he pretty much, his whole thought process is like, oh, this girl should be mine. Mm-hmm. And again, that's problematic. And so it's a little, his character's annoying.
Right.
Pauly Shore's character is Pauly Shore, which is annoying, but you're right. You do like him more because at least
he is the likable, enjoyable character. Buddy.
Yeah.
Just the Pauly Shoreisms. The world needs
Brendan
Pauly
Fraser's
Shore.
character is the one that you like best.
Well, he's the blank slate. He's
but yeah. So I actually thought he was enjoyable when you see him.
Yeah.
The problem I have is all the 90s cringe.
There's a lot of 90s cringe. Oh, let's go to Blades later on. Ew, it's the local ice skating rink.
The thing, like when you look at the, I posted it. When you look at the movie
poster,
yeah, I read it in that thing that voice that they have for South Park,
Encino
where the
Man.
Stone Age meets the Rock Age, a chillin' new comedy in full meander vision, thawing this summer at a theater near you. I want to shoot myself after reading all that.
Rob Schneider is derpy tilly derpy derpy dum.
And then it shows the chart of man's progression, except it ends with like Brendan Fraser on a skateboard,
shredding on a skateboard.
Yeah. Oh God, it's painful. As I've said before, to me, this movie almost belongs in an Onion article about the '90s.
Right.
It feels like it should be satire, but it isn't.
I have so many questions about just how the world works. Like, how did the room? Because the main character, Sean Astin, the jerk, his room keeps getting fucked up throughout the movie, but the movie only takes place within like 2 or 3 days time, I guess.
No, it's gotta, because they said they have so many weeks left of school.
Okay.
And then it ends with them in prom king and queen. So I think it is across several weeks.
Okay. There's a scene where the caveman drives just on 2 wheels on the car. It's so dumb, but it's lovely.
It is.
It's
look. I mean, a lot of you said you really like this movie, so
what's wrong with you, Frosty? What is wrong with you, Frosty? Are you saying that a movie like this cannot exist in this type of era? That it is
no, I'm definitely not saying that.
Are you saying that a movie
like
that features 2 predominant white males cannot just?
They're really taking it in a weird direction now. I don't know. I'm gonna give it. I hate doing this because I hate when so many people say they love it, but it's a Death by Snooze.
No, what's wrong with you?
Look, it's a product of its time that upon reflection, I think it deserves to be dead by Snoo Snoo. I'm sorry, that's just my opinion.
Oh, it's so bad. It's just like it's seeing the world through a caveman. I like how the dog befriended him. Like,
yeah,
that's awesome. And the whole movie kind of builds up to them going on a field trip to the oh my goodness, the La Brea Tar Pits, where Brendan Fraser has the realization, oh my God, I'm a caveman in the modern era. What?
Yeah.
But he gets his girlfriend in the end. Explained very loosely in the beginning. You have Cro-Magnon Man. There's an avalanche.
I mean, even the acting's bad. Like, that's the problem. Like it shows, and he's like, ah, and then like he's like in an earthquake, and he goes, ah, and there's a lot of like them looking at each other and going, and like it's
so bad, it's funny.
It's not. Okay, I can understand why some people might find it that way. For me, it's just like a kick in the crotch.
Right.
And that's why I just couldn't do it. I just, oh God,
like it was painful. Why were they jerks to that dude dressed as the panda at Magic Mountain in front of the Sylvester and Tweety ride? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. And the bully. I mean,
the bully just his whole plan was to reveal in front of the entire prom that he's a caveman. Everybody's like, yeah.
Yeah. Like, let's go have a party and start dancing. And
see, back in the 90s, you can staple a nerd to a bulletin board with a staple gun and pull the fire bell and walk away like a badass. And as everybody's evacuating the room in panic because, it's an unscheduled fire alarm, they can point and laugh like, oh, look at this dork on the bulletin board. Like, it's 90s cringe. All the 90s.
Yeah. In the 80s, though, bullies were murderers. Like you watch
Pet Cemetery,
Karate Kid or something. Yeah. He's like trying to chuck him off a cliff and things like that. And
what is wrong with you guys?
Yeah, I know.
Where's all this anger coming from?
Well, now you're not allowed to be a bully, which I think is good. I mean, that's one of the few things I think Generation Z got right.
Yeah.
But
anyways, it is your pick. What?
Yeah, I had a lot of thoughts for this one. I really wanted to do Empire Records. Because one of the characters is in that, but it's only available on Hulu, and I figured not everybody has Hulu. I think I'm gonna do one that I've been holding in my back pocket for a long time.
Okay.
And that's The Crow.
Okay.
So this is my all-time favorite movie.
I've been waiting for you to pull this card.
The reason I've been hesitant because I didn't want to have anybody say they didn't like it, but whatever. I'll take it. So yeah, we're watching The Crow. It's available to rent various places. The First Crow, the movie with Brandon Lee. So yeah, I'm looking forward to rewatching that. It's been a little while for me, but I have seen it like 100 times.
Okay.
You seem to not have any memory of this movie.
I saw it once when I rented it as a kid, and I remember being just disinterested in it. It was too goth, but I think now that I'm a refined cheese and aged wine, that I might be able to watch it.
See, the darkness in it is part of what I enjoyed about it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't appreciate the happiness and the darkness. Like I didn't have that back then, so I'm hoping I can rewatch this now and kind of see it through your lens now that I kind of have a flavor profile of what speaks to you. So yeah, I'm down. I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. So it's pretty much end of our show. I can't think if there's anything else we need to mention. Oh, let's check in on Twitter real fast, see if anybody else has
real quick
come up with anything. Looks like we're doing Pirates of Dark Water.
Cool.
So what do we want to give ourselves? Like 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Oh, let's touch base in 2 weeks. But yeah, I'm down. I want to research this one because again, this is something I completely forgot about.
Yeah, I'll probably watch a few episodes just to kind of get a feel for it, but I don't want to do what's already been done.
Right.
So
just from the quick glance that I checked while we were talking about it, was on the WB. I guess it was a part of their lineup. So I don't know. I'm going to do some research. So yes, that'll be fun. And then next week we'll have a new Last of Us. I'm going to just keep watching Doom Patrol. So good. And if you're not watching it, watch it. Listen to Frosty. Did you read those comics yet?
I'm halfway through Robin Wars.
Okay. What do you think so far?
Oh, I'm loving it. It's great.
Nice.
I will give my full review, but as far as your daughter was great suggestion. Nice. Has she read any of Watchmen?
I don't think she has. I'm going to ask.
That's our agreement.
All right. Yeah, we should probably end it. So we like to end the show with a nerdy quote by Mr. Frosty. Take it away.
I want you to be happy. I want you to laugh a lot. I don't know what exactly I'll be able to do for you, but I'll always be by your side.